Hello! I just got done with my 4-mile runs. As you can see, I am quite sweaty. It's very warm out today. So when I'm done running, I walk. I probably walked like a quarter mile or some, so let my body cool down. So it's really important right after your run to make sure that you stay standing, keep moving, do not sit down. Your heart rate is probably pretty elevated, so we don't want to sit down. That messes up your recovery. So typically what I do, I'll stretch out my arms a little bit while I'm walking, stretch that shoulder out. Again, like I mentioned in my last video, sometimes I tense up a little bit in my upper body, so I like to stretch that out. Sometimes I will walk with my hands on my head and just let my heart rate come down that way. I also like to do the tricep stretch. Stretch it all out, especially since you're nice and warm. And I also do some arm circles. Again, especially if I'm running for a long time, I tend to tense up in my upper back and I have to be like, relax, Josie, relax. Especially if I'm holding my, you're running, so you're here. So I did a couple arm circles, open up that chest a little bit. I do a quad stretch, so I will scoot this. I don't want to screw this up. I want to make sure you guys can see me because I am going to do some stuff on the ground. Struggling mightily. All right, I think you will be if I go back far enough. So I do a quad stretch here, grabbing that foot. Knee is pointing straight down. So I stretch that quads. We do a lot of quad work when we are running. And hold. Typically I'll hold things for 20-30 seconds or so. Sometimes I'll hold it longer depending on what it is. And I'll do the other side. And sometimes you might need to hold on to something. I typically stretch on my back patio, but this is working out angle-wise and whatnot, even though I know you guys just saw me just fumbling around with the camera, but that's okay. So after stretching that out, I'll inhale up, exhale down, and I'll reach for my toes, stretching the backs of my legs. So you might not have your legs completely straight, you might have them a little bent, and that's okay, but stretching the hamstring. Sometimes what I'll do if I'm at a park or something, I will use my car and put my leg up on the trunk. I have a little car, and I'll stretch my hamstrings that way. So another thing I like to do for this, I'm like off the camera, so I'll show you facing you. So what I do is I cross my camera's like crooked. The struggle's real. Okay, so what I like to do is cross my right leg over, and I'm gonna bend down. So I'm stretching my IT band, and I reach, so my right leg is crossed over, I reach to the left or the right hand side. So I'm feeling a nice stretch in my IT band on my left side, which is the foot that's behind. And we'll switch. So I'm gonna step my right foot behind now, my left foot is over on top, and I reach to the left side. Now I'm stretching my right IT band. I'm like off the camera. All right, I step my feet back, and one thing I like to do is a yogi squat. So I turn my feet out, and I sit down nice and low, and I open up my hips right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this nice crooked video. So you guys can stay here as long as you'd like. This is a really good hip opener, hip flexor opener, especially if you're running for a really long time. Your hip flexors may get tight. I've had that a couple times when I get into some longer runs. So I'll put my hands down, bend my knees, I'll slowly roll up through my spine. Head is the last thing to rise. And so what I like to do as well, this camera crooked thing is driving me nuts. Okay, so I like to put one foot in front, so kind of like what we did for the pre-run, stretching that hip flexor. You can also do this on the ground. So, and I can show you that too of what I do. And we'll actually just stay here. So we'll stretch here. So I'm gonna come down into a lunge, put my back foot flat, and I can press here into my hip flexor, keeping that front knee in line with the ankle so the knee's not going over the toes. And right here, you can also press back and straighten that front leg, stretch that hamstring out. One thing I also like to do, and I'll turn this way so you can see it. So I'm in the same position. I put my hands inside my foot, turn my foot out, and then I open up my hip. So I'm feeling a nice glute and hip stretch right here. And this one I actually prefer to do with my shoes on. My shoe kind of restricts my ankle a little bit, but tis what tis. Okay, so I'm gonna stand back up. We're gonna put that left leg in front now. Same thing, do that hip flexor stretch. My back leg is straight. My knees always in line with my ankle and not going over my toes. And I'm gonna hop down, so I'm gonna come back down to that lunge, and I'm gonna press into the hip flexor, again, front knee in line with the ankle. And I'm gonna press back, straighten that leg, stretch that hamstring out. And I'm gonna press forward again, hands inside the foot, turn that foot out, and then open that knee up. One of these days I'm gonna have like a professional photographer that can get this footage so you don't see mostly trees. But that's okay. You guys get what I'm doing. So I'll step those feet together. Again, slowly roll up through the spine, head's the last thing to rise. I am gonna stretch my glutes out too. So I'm gonna cross that leg over and press down, stretch that hip out. Whoa. Again, you might need to hold on to something for your balance, but stretching that hip and booty out. Again, if you're running long distance, and hills. If you do a lot of hills, this gets really, really tight. And other side, cross that leg over. All right, let's spread those feet wide. And I like to lean into one side, stretch the abductor right here, your inner thigh. So straightening that leg, it's kind of an awkward one. But that feels nice if you're tight there, which I am. And we'll switch to the other side. You can always hold these positions longer. And come on up. One thing that I also like to do is stretch my calves. So I'm gonna shift this camera so you can see what I do, because I like to put it on a step. So, oh, look at this, this is perfect. All right, so you can see I'm on a step. What I like to do is put the ball of my foot, or the top of my foot, on the step and press down and stretch the calf out. I always do this on my back patio. It feels really, really nice. And we'll switch sides. So that's my cool down routine for my run. I always make sure that I am staying hydrated. So I hydrate before my run, and then I did the warm up like you guys saw earlier. I do my run, and then I always cool down. I take a walk right after I'm running. So I'll start, if I'm starting from home, I might run out a little bit further, and then I cut short for the time that I want, or the mileage that I want, and so I have a little bit of time to walk back home. And then I always do a cool down stretching routine like you just saw. I'm always staying hydrated, making sure that I'm getting fueled, staying hydrated with water. I actually just went and put an Arbonne hydration stick in my water because I need just a little bit more with electrolytes and some sugar in it, especially since I've been sweating so much because it's so hot. And then I'm gonna fuel up with some protein and eat. So if you guys have questions, if you wanna see more videos, let me know. But I hope you enjoyed this and I hope it's helpful. You also can do this after just any workout. It doesn't have to be a run. I will see you next time. Have an awesome day.